Hey, up, buddy, how you doing? Hey, we've got an extra guest. How's that?
Yeah, we have. Evening, Bob. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine. Who's this fine fellow or lass you've got with you?
This fine little beauty is my little puppy, Bella. And she decided to jump up on my lap.
Ah, excellent. Excellent.
She is pretty. Anyway, Bob, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine. I've come dressed a little bit like you tonight because I was feeling a tad cold. So I thought, well, I'm going to put an extra layer on because our gas and electric is far too expensive these days.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And let's face it, I am the epitome of fashion. So, copying me, I'll take it as a privilege, Bob.
Well, that's it. I've got to say, though, I am pleased that, I have hairy testicles because you must be suffering something rotten.
I'm not going to lie, I am wearing long johns. It doesn't help that I shaved recently as well, but, we're not going to get into that.
No, best not. Best not. We'll be a family show tonight, at least for a few minutes.
For a few minutes, yeah. Anyway, I mean, we've got a great show coming up on tonight.
We have.
Absolutely blinding band coming on very shortly. And yeah, I'm excited because, well, they're brilliant. But before we do that, Bob, I think we should say hello to our viewers.
Yeah, good idea. Do you want to lead the way, Jace? Because I think last week I kind of I was kind of a bit taken over the first part of the show, yeah. So I think it's time for you to show your talents.
I wouldn't go as far as talents, but it's a new dynamic. It's me and you. Normally you're sat with Sid's, which is great, and obviously Sid does his bit, you do your bit, and now I'm stuck with you.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's one of these things. Every now and again, Sid starts to feel a little bit lonely because we together here in the UK. Sid's over there in America, in Indiana, all on his lonesome, away from the lads. So he has to pop out back into the alley and have a bit of possum passion, just to keep himself going.
I mean, it fits well because let's face it, he also likes dinos.
Well, that's right, and so
I feel good.
I mean, this is almost like the perfect band for Sid, but at least he'll be able to sit back, enjoy it, and see what these guys have to say, won't he? So
definitely. But before we do that, let's say hello to all our wonderful viewers that are tuning in right now. Bring them up, boss. And we've got Ina. Good evening, Ina.
That's it. Just for the guys who are backstage, Ina's from Greece. Luna here from the States as well, so you're getting all over tonight.
Yep. And is that all we've got?
So far. I know we're getting some other people who are coming in because they told us that they're looking forward to seeing the band tonight. So we're just waiting for them to join us and come to the party. But of course, they know the first few minutes it's just us waffling on, so they probably think, well, I've seen Bob and Jace before. So.
I mean, to be fair, we run the show, so I mean, why wouldn't they tune in for just us?
Well, there you go. So I came across this band, Jace, back when I was doing my radio show, and I've got to say one of the things that surprised me about them is I saw the name and I thought this is going to be a cracking metal band, and I got a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. I got sent I think I got sent the same track to play on my show, and I was like, "Oh, this is probably going to be in the death metal." That's where I sit. So I was like, got it on, and I like a little bit of hard rock and heavy metal, and I put it on. I was like, oh, and the name kind of is the opposite of almost what they are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to find out exactly how they came up with that and what's developed in the music, because as I say, the sound sort of leads you in a totally different direction, but fantastic band. Yeah. So I think we should probably make use of the time we've got with them and get the guys on. What do you reckon?
Definitely. Well, it's down to you, Bob. You can introduce them.
Well, we've got to do it right with the name. So tonight, folks, we have Tyrannosaurus Nebulous. Rah! Ah!
Evening, guys. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, living that dream.
That's it. You know, when I did the radio show, was playing your music. I just couldn't resist. I have a demon voice that I use for the radio show, and I had to do a Tyrannosaurus raw. You know, it was compulsory. So I'm really curious about the band name and everything else, but I need to ask first because we know which one's Lee, right? But what I need to know is, out of you other three guys, are you sitting in the order that your name's shown on the screen, which I can't see now because Sid's zoomed out slightly. But we've got Matt, Jay, and Paul. Are you in the order? So we got Matt. You're who?
I'm Matt. That's Jay, and that's Paul.
I see you're trying to catch us out, aren't you? Yeah.
Do the old screen flip over.
Camera's gone backwards as well.
We like confusing you. We confuse you with the name, and then we're confusing you with how himself.
Yeah, and to be fair, gents, it doesn't take a lot to confuse me. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So obviously, before we sort of get into the band and that sort of side of things, we know your names now. But how about telling us what your roles are so that everybody knows what you do?
Lee, you can go first.
Yeah, we'll start with Lee.
I'm just a bass player, basically. So, you know.
Just a bass player. Just a bass player.
Never happens. Because what you do is they go to the front, and I'm like, no, in the back, please. Don't quote me on that.
No, I like bass. I actually started playing instruments on the bass, so you know, can't knock a good bass line.
No, and you know, it's the sort of glue that puts the whole band together, really. And you know, when you do have a wicked song with an awesome bass line, I mean, like Rush are one of my favorite bands. I was listening to a band called Blue Murder earlier. I'm not sure you guys have heard of Blue Murder, but the bass player in that is phenomenal. So, you know, when you've got a good band, a hard rock band with a good bass line, you can't fault it, really. So, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll move over to Matt, Jay, and Paul now before they fall apart because they haven't got the bass player with them tonight. So,
We will, trust me.
The glue.
The glue. The glue over there's the glue. Oh,
that's it.
I'm Jam on drums.
He's the drummer.
Jay's on drums, excellent.
So say.
Oh, yeah.
Paul.
I'm solo guitarist and rhythm guitarist.
I like to do all the solos. I sing and play guitar.
Excellent. Great. So we know everybody's roles now. So when did the band start off, and how did the name come about?
Jonesy, I'm going to say 2014.
No, it was earlier than that. It was 2012, I think. So we've been together 10 years now.
Nice.
That's why he's the glue.
He's got notes.
I'll probably end up answering everything, and that's why I'm the glue.
2012 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
2012, excellent. And how did you all sort of meet? Did you all know each other? Did you advertise, and then was it to sort of come up with the name after that, or was it just somebody was insane enough to have the name in mind and thought, right guys, do you want to come and join Tyrannosaurus Nebulous? Rah.
No, it took us it took us an age to find a band name because everything's good to take it. But this is my brother, so Paul's my brother, Jay's my cousin, and Lee's Welsh.
Yeah, don't hold it against him.
And Paul and Jay were already in a band. We had a singer, well, they had a singer at the time. I don't know what changed, but I ended up joining the band. Jay used to play bass. He went on the drums, so we needed a bass player, which is when we found Lee.
Ah, Lee. There we go. And what was the attraction, Lee? Were you sort of like thinking the name was there? We were going to sort of like, I can go and play with tyrannosaurs instead of sheep.
Well, the thing is, I'd broken my Velcro gloves. My wellies were a bit old. I needed
The scourge of the Welsh issue.
I wanted something a bit bigger. Do you know what I mean? So,
Well,
to be fair, Lee, what you need to do is you need to be chatting with our boss backstage because he's a big fan of dinosaurs, and I reckon you two could get together.
in fairness, I can. I mean, Jess fancied something a bit bigger. Then he thought, no, maybe not. I'll buy a treadmill and a few exercise machines instead.
They're just gathering dust and clothes. But okay, so how did the name actually come about? I mean, you've got bands like T-Rex, not to be confused with Tyrannosaurus Nebulous.
Rah.
How did that actually come about? Because that's it's quite a very niche name and a very strange name to call a band. And like me and Bob were saying, when you hear that name, you're thinking, I'm going to get some brutal death metal, and then you guys come on, you're like, you know what? This is quite warm and soothing.
We do like to confuse. Bands struggle to come up with names all the time, and I think it was me that I found Nebulous, and our old singer said that's not good enough. It needs something before that, bigger. And he just come up with Tyrannosaurus, and it was like nothing else. No one of the ones got that name. If you Google that, that's the only thing you'll find. It's just a mouthful. And
that's what she said.
So.
I mean, I can appreciate that because I mean, obviously, when we sort of like working on radio shows and stuff like that, you come across a lot of band submissions. You come across a lot of bands just full stop looking around, and I remember reading that name and thinking, yeah, that's a fantastic name. That's a cracker. But as I say, it's hard to sometimes tie it into the music. So, do you think we should sort of have a test to let everybody else get to have a listen to it?
Yeah, I reckon so, Bob. You know what? We'll give the listeners and the viewers a little bit of taste of Tyrannosaurus Nebulous. Rah.
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 Hey guys, Crystal from the band Anoxia here, and you're watching Inner Demon Media. Inner Demons. Because we all have them, we all just don't hide from them.
We breathe the sweat, he brings the tears. What's up, everybody? This is Corey from the band Carbon Stone, and you are watching Inner Demon Media. Rock on.
What a great video that is.
Now, I've never seen that video until then. I knew the track, but the video just gives it even more. Fantastic.
It's brilliant. I mean, some of the video clips in there, you've got, Full Metal Jacket, Zulu, Spartacus, and there was a little bit of the Wars of the Stars in there.
Yeah, a little bit. But the guy had to switch it round so it couldn't be copyrighted. They'll never know if we just switch it round.
But it's brilliant, and the song itself is, I mean, it even states, feel and hear the roar. Tyrannosaurus Nebulous, raw.
Rah.
It's been a while since I've seen that video, to be fair. I forgot how funny it was.
I really liked it, and I tell you what, can that T-Rex play guitar? We're a solo, eh?
Put me out as well.
All in a suit, that was.
Yeah.
Who came up with the idea of doing that type of video? The song itself is great and it's a standout track, but then to add it to that style of video, you're like, wow, this is great.
Well, we can't act, so we don't really want to be in videos. So. We found this guy who's quite local to us. Well, I think you did, didn't you, Lee?
Yeah, and
being the glue and all.
The stuff he's done for horror films now, and he's a really good filmmaker. And one of the things that I saw that he'd done was this like stop motion horror film, and one of the things I've always liked is the Ray Harryhausen films. So I'm not sure whether you guys have seen sort of Sinbad and The Eye of the Tiger and things like that, all sort of stop motion monsters. And I just, he might be really good to do that video to give it a slightly different edge, something a little bit different. And we've all got a massive sense of humor, boys, haven't we? And we didn't want things to be we didn't want things to be too serious. So we wanted to work a bit of humor into it.
Yeah, I can see why you were worried about that video being too serious. I mean, one of the entertaining things is that you're sort of like, you're sitting there and you think, oh, I'm going through a number of different films here. I wonder how many different ones, and can I name them all? And then all of a sudden you get this T-Rex cracking out a solo, and you just think, flying around with flames coming out of its ass, which is even better.
or cake plates in the sauce.
I got in there.
Do you still have the top, Lee? The dinosaur. Have you still got the dinosaur?
I've still got the dinosaur.
Have you got it handy near you?
I haven't, no. I only recently moved house, so it could be in a box somewhere.
I'll put it that should be your pride and joy.
It's true, actually.
If I was in a band called Tyrannosaurus Nebulous, I'd have a dinosaur strapped to the front of my car as I was driving around. It'd be fantastic.
Have you actually named him, though? I mean, he is effectively the mascot now. I'm calling him the mascot.
His name is Terence.
Terence, the Tyrannosaurus.
Brilliant. We actually have a mascot ourselves, named by Jace, because he's the only one who can remember its name now.
Bruce Hamataro the Third.
You will see him at the end of the show, potentially.
There he is.
Excellent.
We often get accused of liking dinosaurs far too much. We're mad on dinosaurs, and it was just very happy. We ended up with a name, and we got a dinosaur, Terence, and we have blow up dinosaurs at shows sometimes, don't we, Jonesy?
We do.
I've got it tattooed on my arm.
It's brilliant, but you can't not be sort of like dinosaurs, can you? Because I mean, if you take a dinosaur movie, even if it's the most naff sort of stiff-legged dinosaur, it just makes it even better, doesn't it? It's just fantastic. So I mean, there's one called. Anybody who hasn't seen it, go out and look it up for naff plastic dinosaurs called Aztec Rex. Brilliant. Yeah, it's like going back and watching the first ever King Kong type film. You know, it's that sort of stiff when it moves. Brilliant.
I love that, guys. That's so cool.
Right. Cheers for that, boss. But what I want to know, gents, is so the band, you are a hard rock band, and you can hear a lot of influences within your music. But what I want to know is, personally, what is your musical influence? Where did you start in your musical career, so to speak? If we start with, you know what, we're going to go backwards. We're going to start over here with Jay.
Time after that, we'll try and get our answers.
We'll start over here.
Go for it, Jay. We'll go with you first.
It's AC/DC, that sort of, AC/DC, that sort of, that sort of job. It was more through my old man.
All right. So what made you become do the old drums first then? Was it a particular drummer, or was it AC/DC that you just thought, I want to be in a band? So
I was on bass with him. We couldn't find a reliable drummer, so that's why I jumped on the drums. So I was a bass. So it started with a bass. My old man's a bass player, so that's how I got into it.
Drummer by default.
And then drummer by default. I got demoted, and then I got that's basically my background from the old man, and obviously these guys, the guitarist. So it's all through that. It's all
Right. Our fault.
So what we figured out is you were the glue that holds the band together. Now you're the drummer.
That was a glue.
Yeah, you took a demotion from the glue. Yeah.
And if we is it Paul?
Yeah, we've got two guitarists here now, so I'm going to ask you, as we move on, whose are all those guitars? Who owns the guitars?
I think half of mine are here.
No, those
so come on then, Paul. Who was your influences to, I mean, you can't have been a bass player and then moved on to guitar.
No, I've always been a guitarist. Literally, my dad, we've been listening to AC/DC, Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake. So I brought up with classic rock. But I've got a lot of my blues as well. So Steve Ray Vaughan was a massive influence on me. Gary Moore. There's a lot.
Too many to name.
Too many to name, yeah. So, but of course,
was I not an influence?
Oh, sorry.
I'm older than him.
Anybody with brother?
Yeah, basically, I'm his influence because I'm older than him. I had a guitar. He had to have a guitar.
Oh well.
He had to be better at me. You know what I mean? So there you go. So I'm his influence.
So what made you take on the vocals then, Matt, as well?
The singer left.
Well, I've got to say, you've got a cracking voice for it, mind.
Well, I had to force it out because we couldn't get a reliable drummer, so he had to go on the drums. And the singer left, so I had to go and sing. It worked out for the best, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
But we made it work.
You certainly did. I think you've got a really good rock voice. So I think it's and I like to tell singers that because I've done a bit of vocals in the past myself, but I hate my voice. But you've got a really good voice. So.
People do tell me that I can sing, and I always tell them that I have to try so hard. It's not that natural. You know what I mean? It's really hard to, when someone's up there and they've got a massive, powerful voice, and you're like, and make it look easy. And I'm like, I'm absolutely knackered after a show because of how hard I've had to try. Just so I hold my hand up to them because they got talent, and I'm pushing through. You need to hear Jay's voice. Have you heard the album yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard the songs that he sings?
Yeah.
I can't say that. I didn't really know the two years beforehand. So, I mean, is he very distinctive between the 2 years? Because I've got to admit, I just stick it on when I'm in the gym and have a bit listening.
If I'm around here, he's up here with your Bon Scotts and your Robert Plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we play live, we have to sit on a testicle just to get it.
That's for singing.
But we call him our secret weapon. So we'll be doing a show and we'll be playing along. And everyone's getting into it, and then I'll go, well, he's actually told me to stop calling the secret weapon in case he gets it wrong. But
sets me up for a fail.
Yeah. and then we let he sings a couple of songs, and everyone's like, what? Where did that come from? Because it's cool having a singing drummer, but when he can do that, people are like, and then of course no one's bothered about me after. We did one show and a guy came up to me and said, "You've got a great voice, but you're drummer." And I was like, "Thanks, mate."
I'm kind of thinking that we need to hear this now, just so we can like have a distinctive feel between the two.
Well, we've got the video nearly ready, but it's not.
But what we need to do is we need to move over to Lee in a minute. But what I've also figured out is effectively Jay is the Phil Collins of the band. From bassist to drummer to now singing.
He's gonna get rid of us. It'll be a solo.
But anyway,
get ready, Lee, for your resignation papers. Them coming.
Well, over to you, Lee. What's your inspirations musically? Where did you start?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been massively into music, really, like the rest of the lads. I mean, like my dad is. So obviously when you are younger and like growing up, you're forced to listen to your parents' music. But luckily it was pretty good. And two of my major influences are Geddy Lee from Rush and also Burke Shelley, who was a bass player and singer from like Budgie as well. So, two of my like favorite bands. And probably I'd say Gene Simmons and like Geezer Butler as well. Just four like sort of phenomenal bass players. But I like everything in the rock and sort of metal sphere, really. I mean, death metal, sort of progressive metal. You name it, I like it. So.
See, that's probably why I'm a crap musician, because when I was growing up, my influence was my parents playing ABBA. So.
ABBA songs are actually rock songs, but they're just
no. Could do a good rendition of The Winner Takes It All.
We'll do an album of ABBA rock songs.
All
right.
Who's going to put the blonde wig on?
I'll just do it.
So, what's the scene been around where you're based here around the Midlands in the UK, aren't you? So, what have you spread out from there? Are you starting to get your name out of the Midlands and spreading around the country, or?
We're venturing into Wales, aren't we?
So do you all live relatively close to each other then, or do you actually?
The cotton glue.
He's not going to say anything.
Has he frozen up? Have you frozen up, Lee?
Well, no. Well, when you look at sort of the music scene at the moment, it's really sort of difficult to get out there and get gigs, because after 2 years of the pandemic, quite a lot of venues are like booked up now. But we have done quite well over the past year. We've played some great gigs. We're starting to sort of branch out, really. We have played in like South Wales because of me, sort of quite a few times now. we're back down there at the end of the year, which I'm really looking forward to. Because, it's really difficult getting your name out there, really, because there's so much music out there, there's so many bands, and there's so few great venues. We're quite lucky where we are, really, because we've got the Gifford, the Robin 2, we've got KK Steel Mill. There's loads of really great venues over in Birmingham as well. We're over at this really wicked pub, which is called Percy's. I think that's the end of this month, boys, isn't it? And it's such a quirky place, and the sound is absolutely phenomenal in there. So if anybody's in that area, come along, because it's such a great venue. I think we actually played there. Was it earlier this year or was it last year, lads? I can't remember, but it's a great venue.
It's a small place, isn't it? It's Whitchurch, so it's about an hour up and across from the Midlands, if you like.
It's Whitchurch.
It's a tiny little shed, but the sound is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And
the day after we played, Feeder were playing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Cool.
If you get the right band in there, you're quite lucky, because it's intimate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And are you getting good turnout at the gigs as well now? Because I know that we've seen quite a lot of gigs getting cancelled still online and where have you. And I know that I've been out to a few local towards where I live, and sometimes you walk in and it's pretty much the band and a few people. Are you managed to get a good turnout around that way?
It's quite mixed. We were lucky enough to play the Robin 2 with Coughlin's Quo, and that was rammed. Yeah. Mm. And then of course we went up Percy's on a Friday, miserable, raining, and even though it's only small, there was 30 people in there. So it's mixed. It depends who we're supporting or what day. Saturdays okay, but Fridays and slow. But we just play. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same anyway, isn't it? You've just got to do that. I mean, I've played a couple of dog walkers in a sort of open venue and think, Christ, what the hell am I doing? But, you just got to put it down as a practice session sometimes when it gets like that, haven't you? And just get on with it and see how it all goes. But I think slowly it'll start to come back. But I think it is taking a while for things to catch on a bit,
Yeah, there's a lot of things to worry about. There was COVID in there. There's the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we have another example of what you guys do then?
Carry on.
Yeah.
Is this the one we did that lockdown and we couldn't get out the house?
Well, we'll see. Sid, let's roll the second number and see what the Tyrannosaurus Nebulous have to offer in this one. Rah.
Hey, this is Josie Scott, the original OG lead singer of Saliva, and you are watching Inner Demon Media. Release your inner demons. We all have demons. We just don't try to hide them.
You like your cute girl skinny. This is Rod from Just a Ride. And
Hey, I tell you, that's our backseat driver just cocked up a good video. But, you know, that gives me an opportunity to say, Matt. Now, what happened to your microphone, Matt? Huh? And you told us about your acting skills, but I was quite impressed with the.
There's no camera there, honestly.
and the two masks as well that you were wearing, Lee.
Yeah.
Nice little dino.
I mean, you know, one of our other videos, we'd like bought a load of like dinosaur masks for, and I was like, well, you know, why not? Here's use it again. So, and I think my son's Optimus Prime mask was lying around, so that got thrown into the mix as well. So, yeah.
And then the cello as well. All I had in my head then was the Jack Black, turn it on its side and cello.
You know, that was a risky game because I wafted that thing around now. I've got a little bloody cloud of dust sort of going around in front of my eyes.
Well, again, another great video. And what I love about it is it shows your the human side, the fun side, the not so serious side, because your music's absolutely brilliant. And I've got to say, Matt, your vocals got a lovely warmth to it as well. It just, you know, that I was trying to pinpoint where I'd heard that vote, obviously other than Tyrannosaurus Nebulous, but there's that warmth. Yeah, rah. But there's that warmth, and then everything else mixed in. You know, you got Jay and Paul smashing it away on the cello and the drums breaking sticks, and then the Optimus Prime.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, it's another great track, and
we all want a bit good stuff.
I got pissed as a fart because I kept taking that same shot.
Well, you kind of you started off sort of like with the EP, didn't you? When you sort of released it, I'll go look at a little note I've got down here. Deal with My Evil, which is obviously one of the. I believe that's the track that we're finishing off with later on tonight. So, did doing the EP sort of teach you any lessons that you've sort of like thought, oh, we're going to move that forward, or try something a little different when you were starting to work towards doing the album?
It just made us want to do the album because that was our first ever recording of anything. Well, no, we did an EP years ago, but it was very amateuristic, you know, novice. But this time we went to Gavin Monaghan at Magic Garden Studio to do the EP. And we enjoyed it so much. It's like we've got to do the album now. So that was, and you're learning all the time. You know, what you do on one song, you might not work for another song, or we just enjoyed doing it, so it made us want to do the album more.
Yeah. So how long did you spend in the studio or putting it all together? Because obviously you watch all these sort of like movies of bands gone by, and some of them where they sit in studios forever and a day just plugging away doing different things. But obviously appreciate the majority of bands don't get that time. But you've got a fantastic sound throughout the music. So how long were you actually in there?
We recorded them over weekends. So we'd go Saturday morning, all day Saturday, and then sometimes into Sunday morning, and then we'd leave them to mix it, and so we basically Saturday and Sunday, and that was it. So we had to learn the song really well and not mess it up, so that we could get it done in time. So we did them in like I don't know, one weekend, and then perhaps 6 weeks after we'd do another song, and then 6 weeks after that we'd do another song, and then I think we went about 3 months before we didn't. So it was quite spaced out. We wasn't in the studio for like a couple of weeks doing it. It was all spaced out.
Nice. And were you laying down each instrument individually, one after another, or did you actually go in as a band and play it all?
For this particular stuff, we played it separately. I'm assuming so that they could do it over a weekend, because I think if we tried to do it as a band, we'd probably mess it up. So, I think to get it done, it was better to do it that way. Which you you lose a little, but you learn other stuff. So it was basically go in, knock a guide track out, and then Jay would do his drums, and when I was happy with that, we'd move on to bass, and then the guitars, and then we'd start going crazy and see what else we can put on it. There's a lot of stuff that we recorded that they didn't use, because you can only put so much in. Less is more, they say.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that, and I've always wondered how bands cope, like when they sort of then move out of the studio and go to play it live. Can you get that same representation to a crowd, you know?
We didn't want to do too much.
Hey, the glue's gone.
The glue's gone. We're screwed now. It's game over now. We didn't. We wanted to stay like there's only an extra few guitars, or there's nothing really overdubbed apart from that last song we saw. Paul basically played the solo twice, nearly the same, but he changed a few bits and it just made it massive. Whereas we can't really replicate that live, but yeah, how far away is he?
So when you do the solos, then Paul, are you know roughly the area you want to be, but never play quite the same twice, or?
Or about where the neck on play.
He totally wings it totally.
No, that.
Oh, okay.
It's all up here.
No, I know what it's. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing every time. But it's the case I get bored sometimes, so I change it up a little bit.
It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because I watched again the Bohemian Rhapsody film a little while ago, and there's that scene where the sort of in the studio recording the song where he's playing the solo, and he says, "Oh, I think you could do better," and he plays it a bit different. And you think, God, if you actually heard Bohemian Rhapsody and that solo wasn't quite what it is, the song would feel different once you've got to a fan, but it must be hard for a guitarist to sort of stand there and play bang on everything, the same notes, same time every night, because you want that bit of freedom to explore as well and make it a bit more random and entertaining, don't you? So
that's probably one of my faults.
Yeah. Once we've recorded it, he has to go and learn the solo.
Yeah. Shit, where did I find that note at? So what's going to be next for yourselves? You've got the album out. What's the next project, or is it just promoting the album at the moment?
Well, we're starting to write again. I've got a couple of songs. Well, one we've had a bash at, and I need to finish the lyrics for, and I got all the home kit, and so I've got a few ideas spinning. But we've all been on holiday, so we haven't really been in the studio or seen each other for like best part of 6 weeks, I would imagine. So we've all had holidays at different times, so we haven't really got together. But we'll just write and see what happens, and if we get the motivation, we'll do it again. And
cool.
Well, get the motivation and do it again.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
Well, big question. Where did you go on holiday this year?
Wales.
Did it rain?
No. Yes, of course it did. It's Wales. It's always rain. I've got a bit of a tan. That's a wind tan, that is.
So Wales, for anyone outside the United Kingdom, has got its own weather system. It's 4 seasons in one day. That's what you can get in Wales. It's
Live.
it's the
All of it's
weirdest
live.
days.
Oh, he's back. The glue is back.
He sort of like got himself knocked off screen so he could nip out back and get himself a drink, didn't he?
I'm having real like problems like my internet at the moment. Typically, what happens. This guy pissed me off so much, I just left.
Now,
we just discussed holidays, weren't we? So where did you go on holiday, Lee?
Tenby, South Wales.
So even the Welshmen went to Wales.
Yeah.
Right.
When you've got good weather in this country, you can't really beat it, really. I mean, if you're somewhere nice by like the sea, it's all good.
So the question I've got for you, Lee, because I've been to Tenby many, many times because there used to be a camp up the road. So did you go to the Prince of Wales? Did you go to the Fight Owl? I mean, the Night Owl?
No, I didn't go there.
And the lifeboat or the Mariners down in the centre?
Yeah. The lifeboat, I was staying just behind that. I was staying just like overlooking the harbour. So, yeah.
So just round the corner, I was on a day session and I threw up all along that road. And another useless bit of information about Tenby, it's actually called the Little Town of Fish. Didn't she Pissy God?
Dimbich Pysgod, yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, it is awesome, and it's a wicked place to go out drinking for like an all day because there's so many brilliant pubs there. But over the past couple of years, it's got really busy because everyone in the UK has been going on holiday in the UK, so it's gone crazy. It's a great place to go.
But the beach is absolutely amazing along that front, all the way up to Manabere Range.
That's right, yeah. Beautiful sort of beaches there. These days, I love going to Saundersfoot every year, so we tend to holiday apart, just like we like to do radio interviews.
You go to the same place, just a different time.
Yeah. kind of not. So
yeah. But I mean, the question I've got for you guys, other than holidays in Wales, for the guys that live in the Midlands.
I went to Devon as well.
Is all right. See, not having seen you live, I actually believe from just talking to you today that your gigs are absolutely brilliant, fun, enjoyable, and there must be some crazy tales to let the viewers in on.
Well, the last one we did was at Hereford. What was it, Jonesy? What was the festival?
The farm.
Down on the farm festival.
That's it, yeah.
And it must have been 38 degrees, and we were in a barn basically with a tin roof and 2 openings. Everything was wet. I don't know where my pants disappeared to. And these women at the front were spraying water at us on our faces, and I just hoped it was water, and I didn't. Because they haven't told me if anything happened, because it was that hot. But gosh knows what they were spraying us with.
Yeah, but that was awesome. That was such a really good gig because everyone was smashed off like cider. It was just brilliant, and Sam was really good. It was a great atmosphere because everyone's like camping all over the weekend, and it was just a great night, wasn't it? And we just get up there and just do our stuff really. But we have had some brilliant gigs, and that was probably one of our like highlights this year, lads. I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. It must be quite a difficult thing when you're doing the outdoor gigs because I know there's times when I went to play at certain areas and my hands have been so bloody cold that I couldn't get the buggers to work. probably because I never warm up, so probably why my music sounds shite. But it must be quite a difficult thing, sort of like getting that mix of thinking, oh, if I turn a beer, if I don't bloody warm up properly, I'm going to be bloody freezing me bollocks off trying to play the music, you know. So.
Well, this particular time it was just too hot. It was like I'm surprised we lasted. I'm surprised we lasted the hour because we played an hour. But I've never been so hot in my life.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been cool if you'd have got, well, not cool obviously because you were hot, but wouldn't it have been good if you'd have got weighed before the gig and after the gig just to see how much weight you lost in the middle of it?
I need to do more gigs like that then, Bob, thank you.
Yeah. I tell you what, if you actually found that you lost a good few pounds while it was on, Jace wouldn't have had to buy any more exercise equipment. He'd just go, you know, shoot the wife after
Really hot gigs, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought you a tin hut.
I'm just glad she's not watching this.
Excellent. So what's next for Tyrannosaurus Nebulous? Rah.
I'm going to have to send you one of these.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
We've got a few of them. We'll send them off to you. Well, we're going to start writing again and see if we can get back in the studio and record it, mate.
So have you got many more gigs coming up before the end of the year that people can come and see you at?
It's the 1st of October, it's Percy's, isn't it, Jonesy?
Yeah.
Is it?
Percy,
Yeah,
1st of October.
With church, that cracking little venue we was telling you about, the small place with the great sound.
If you guys can get there, come along. It's a really quirky venue. As we said earlier, the sound's brilliant. There's lovely guys, there's lovely atmosphere. And then after that, Saturday the 10th of December, we're actually in Merthyr Tydfil. I used to live there for about 2 years. It's a brilliant little town that is. One of those towns actually, where similar to like Tenby, everybody from that area goes out in that town, and they end up at the only nightclub. It's bonkers. It's a brilliant night out. So that will be an excellent gig. I think it's at the Red House, which is one of the newer like venues there. But we're actually playing with Fury, and I can't remember the name of the other band, Matt. Do you know off the top of your head? I'd have to look at the gig page. But yeah, we're really looking forward to that one. So it'll like the end of the year, so Christmas gig. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Nice. You've just led me on to one more question before we say good night and listen to another track as we go. But obviously you'll have gigged with a few different bands and what have you. If you got the opportunity to gig with any band that you could, who would you like to be either supporting or have supporting you?
Anyone.
Yeah, anyone. Because you just never know. With this, as I say, we have people from right around the globe. We have Australia, America, Greece. You know, so you just never know. We might end up coming across them, and we might get a chance to turn around and say, "Hey, we once spoke to this band, Tyrannosaurus Nebulous, rah, and they would love to gig with you."
Well, we, if you like, played recently with this band called Mother Vulture, and if like you guys haven't like checked them out, they were absolutely brilliant live. They were all over.
Mother Vulture.
Yeah, really good band. Love to like with them again. I'd say one of the bands I'd love to sort of play with. We're on like tour this month. Peter Frampton. Well, sorry, November. Peter Frampton's on tour. That's one of my personal heroes. Focus as well. We nearly got the opportunity to play with Focus, which would have been epic. I love Focus, and that would have been just off the wall, really. Boys, what do you reckon? What's the like dream band?
I'd have to say King's X.
Yeah, Port would love to. King's X. We'd love to play with them. I reckon we should tap all the Kid Joe up.
Well, we Kid Joe?
yeah, man, they are amazing live. Such a superb band.
From my era as well. 90s.
Ah, well, there we go. We might just be able to set our resident stalker on to sorting that one.
Awesome.
Well, look, guys, it's been fantastic catching up with yourselves, and obviously, whenever you've got anything new coming out, send it our way, and we'll make sure that it gets on the radio station, on the shows, and anything else we can do to help promote you. Tag us in, we'll see where we can take it. But it's been fantastic to hear a bit more about you tonight, and catch up and see where we can take it for you for the future.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having fun as well.
Been a lot of fun. Cheers for having us on.
Good. Jace, anything you want to add, Jace?
No, but all I'm going to say is when we play the last track, gents, all I want you to do is stay in the back. You'll be put backstage, and then we can have a quick chat afterwards. And that's pretty much it from me. I know what Bob was alluding to, but I'm not, because I know that these guys will answer. So, and they will always say yes, so it's fine.
No, it's fine. What I would say is I'll be posting the link to the band's Facebook page in the chat. I've already posted through a few times tonight, but go check them out. Find the social media. Go give them the support. Buy the album. Tyrannosaurus Nebulous. Rah. Rah. Roll it, Sid. Let's have the last track. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
The thing is starting to piss me off. We should kill it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Die! Damn it.
Hey, this is Rod from Just a Ride, and you're watching Inner Demon Media.
Through the night, in my dreams and my nightmare, blood, sweat, and tears.